anywhere. So yeah, so I'm an independent developer and AI and security enthusiast. So I talk a lot about security. So a lot of AI things, and I used to run a community in Chennai called Grafana and Friends Chennai. So I'm active volunteer at multiple communities here in India. So I also gave a talk in Chennai, Bangalore, and this is my first talk in Hyderabad. So I graduated last year from Manna University, Chennai. So I used to write blogs daily on Medium. So what are the things which I was using daily? So I used to share all those things in my Medium as well. Yeah, so there are so much hype over LLM models, right? So we used to have a lot of new models coming up daily. Last week we have a Gemma model from Google, and we have DeepSeek. So there are so much of things and hype around LLM. Still there are a lot of advancement in the row, and the LLM models are like went to a geopolitical level, like the war between China and America. So there are a lot of hype around those LLMs. But as an individual, as a developer, how we can utilize all those LLM models for our productivity? So that's where the main part of thing come for as an individual. So yeah, recently I was searching in the LinkedIn. I was just came around a job description called Vibe Code Developer. So I was like, there are new job opportunities and new things around AI. Like we have a prompt engineer, and recently there is a popular term in the Silicon Valley. They used to call as vibe coding. So I don't know how much extent it will go, but there are so much, as I say, the hype, but people won't look at in a back end, like what actually is going, all those things. GitHub Copilot or any other AI coding tools are just generating a bunch of code, but how you trust all those code, from where the code is coming, so whether they are part of any security themes or any things related to security. So yeah, so I have one question for everyone. So have you used any AI coding assistant tool like GitHub Copilot or Amazon Q, or in your company or in your personal, or have you used any AI coding assistant tool? Okay. So what one problem you face while using all those things? Any one problem? Request limit accepted. Next. What? Okay. Yeah, great. But here itself we are missing on important term, security. So the security, we are so much interested on where the code is coming and all those things. But there are another problem, like if we use ChatGPT or any AI coding assistant tool, it will generate a bunch of code. But how do you know whether these packages or dependency are up to date? The main problem with all those LLM models are they have their own knowledge cutoff date. Let's say for example GPT-4, they have their knowledge cutoff around October 2023. See, in the open source ecosystem, people used to fix the dependency and the packages every day. There are a lot of dependency issues will be there. People will fix all those things. But our LLM models can't able to know all those up-to-date patches and up-to-date vulnerabilities. So next the concept called RAG comes in. So we use RAGs and all those. Even though with all those RAGs and the AI agents, so you can ask me the question, like if we ask the ChatGPT, like it will use a browser to check all those things. Even though with all those advancement in the GPT world, but even though our AI coding assistant tool don't have the access to internet. So that's why the main problem, my talk is all about covering the AI coding assistant tool with how we can get all the security updates up to date, how we can ensure the code generated by the AI coding assistant tool, any coding assistant tool, how we can trust whether the code is up to date and there is no any patches in the package, or how we can trust all those coding tool. So my talk is all about all those things, but the coding, the tool which I was mentioning is CodeGate. So it's a project from a team called StackLack. So they are part of OpenSSF Foundation. So I will cover all those things in the upcoming slide. So they recently developed this project called CodeGate. They announced it in last November. So it's a pretty new project. There are a lot of updates going around with the StackLack project and the CodeGate project. So basically, yeah, this is the one which I was mentioning about this. I can just show the picture out of it. Okay. So these are our coding AI assistant, like for example Cursor or GitHub Copilot or anything, and these are our AI coding AI models like Llama, GPT or any other thing, and this is where our CodeGate comes in. So the prompt or any code which you give to their LLMs are verified by the CodeGate. CodeGate, we can run the CodeGate by locally via Docker container. So it is fully running on our own machine. So the code or the prompt will not leave your laptop. So our CodeGate will verify all the prompt, the code and everything, and in return the code which is generated by any models can also be verified by CodeGate. I can show the demo of it. Okay.
One doubt I have, but that CodeGate won't fix the library security issues, right?
Yeah, good question. So if you give the malicious code to the any models, so it is verified by CodeGate in return. No, it won't fix it. It won't fix it, but it will tell you whether the bugs is in your code. So don't use this package. Instead, it will also recommend other package to be used.
How it will identify?
Yeah, good question. So there is another project called Stacklight Insight. So I will in the demo you will see they integrated RAG by default. There is a project, another project from this team called Stacklight Insight. So that project will have the dependencies of up-to-date dependencies. They have their own separate project to keep the dependency track, all those things. So they integrated these project with those things. I can show the Stacklight Insight also. You mentioned about the SkyKit, right? So in the website you can just you can see all those dependency here. So these the Stacklight Insight project is integrated by RAG with the project which I was talking earlier. So the knowledge base is the knowledge base for code base is this another project called Stacklight Insight. So it fetches all the up-to-date dependency from here. So it will know whether it will check all the dependency here, whether the code generated by models are up to date with this knowledge base. They used to they maintain this database up to date with frequent patches. So you will get all the things dependency or patches from this project. Yeah, so by RAG method they integrated that Stacklight Insight with this project. So next, yeah. So why CodeGate? As I mentioned earlier, like we have we can get the dependency dependency risk awareness, and we can there is new feature from them. Like we don't use these things in our Copilot or any other coding assistant tool. We don't intentionally mention our secret as a thing in our code. We used to have a like environment variable or any other thing. But if you unintentionally mention any code or any secret in your code base, when you give to the coding models, it will be a part of a training their data set, right? So what the CodeGate will do is that instead of sending your secrets to AI models, it will encrypt in a fly, and it won't give the secrets to AI models. So instead of this, it will give an empty list to models, and while giving a response back, the CodeGate will give you the secret which you mentioned, which you gave to the models. Like it will change the secrets in a fly. So so that your secret won't leave your machine. This is another feature they introduced recently. So we mainly we won't do all those things, but if in case if you mention any secrets or any email ID address or anything, the CodeGate will see your prompt and your code, and it will change it in the fly, and it return back as a normal thing to you. You can verify all those things in a dashboard. They created a separate dashboard to view all the prompts, the response which we got from our ADI models or anything. So I can also show that dashboard also. Before that, we will see the features first, and the security reviews. It will also review your security thing. If the model generated a code, it will just also check whether the code is in a secure way. It will follow any security vulnerabilities or any unintentionally any backdoor attacks or any other thing. It also review all those things, and also it will recommend other package to use. And next is a workspace. So there are we used to work with different models for different use case, right? So if you want to use Python for specific to Claude, or if you want to use JavaScript for GPT, we can just use workspace to organize all those projects. We can organize project level by using the workspace feature. And the next feature is called model muxing. So as I mentioned earlier, right, so we want to use AI models, but we want to use for it a different use case. Let's say, for example, if you want to use JavaScript for a Llama model, and if you want to use JavaScript for Olama, so you can configure all those things by using model muxing. So in case if you don't want your code to any AI hosted models, you can also configure this via Olama. So it is easy to get started with CodeGate. Just with a simple Docker command, you will get access. You will get started with the CodeGate. Just a simple Docker command. You will, and this is a dashboard which I was talking about earlier. So we can customize it by workspace. We can customize this by workspace, which I was talking earlier. So you can see the malicious package it deducted, the secrets. And the secret and response. So I can just show the demo also. This is my code. So I intentionally downloaded some malicious code from GitHub. So let's see what it is doing. In Python, there is a package called Fabric. So I intentionally changed the Fabric to Fabrice. So let's see what Stacklog is doing. And you can see that I intentionally added the GitHub token here also. Yeah. So it detected that there is one secret leaked by it, and you can get a recommendation instead of Fabrice how we can use. So it is a recommendation. Let's see in the dashboard whether CodeGate actually encrypted our this is the request which we gave to the, here you can see in the code, it's in the code I was intentionally added in GitHub token, but here it changed it and it gave the and this is the response which we received from the CodeGate. So it recommended to use this one, and you can see and you can see that dashboard in the stack light inside whether the dependency is correct or not. Any doubts? Yeah.
Where is CodeLight sitting here? So you have GitHub Copilot, right?
Yes.
The VS Code. And where exactly? Yeah. So where exactly is this CodeGate sitting?
Yeah, great, good question. So I can show. I can just show with the diagram. Just give me a second. Yeah. So CodeGate is running as a Docker container, as I was mentioning. So I configured. I was forgot to mention what I configured in locally. So there are a few steps we need to configure before using Copilot. GitHub with the GitHub Copilot. So when you run the Docker command, next you have to configure your VS Code to use CodeGate. We have to open the ports and we need to install the certificate, CA certificate, because we are intercepting the GitHub Copilot request. So we need to have a CA certificate. So you can just download from the CodeGate dashboard. They will provide a TLS certificate. So you need to configure the VS Code to use CodeGate. CodeGate is running in the backend as a Docker container. So I can just show the configuration also in my. So my Docker container is running in the port 1990 as a dashboard. The TLS certificate and everything is running on the port 1990, and I configure everything, the TLS certificate and everything. So by doing this, it will automatically detects your GitHub Copilot automatically detects the CodeGate where it is actually running. This is the procedure. If you want to use GitHub Copilot instead of any other AI coding assistant, you just need to run Docker container. You just need to configure that particular AI coding assistant tool, and CodeGate will automatically detects your coding AI assistant. So that's it. Just a 3-step process.
And the UI that you are saying, it is only visible locally. So
Yes.
is it possible to send it to some central logging system?
As of now, it is possible only to run via local.
Okay, and do you have that on the roadmap item anytime soon?
Maybe in future. So why you need that feature? What is the requirement?
The problem that using this IC is that, for example, let's say there is an organization with 10,000 users,
Okay.
right? We can't go and ask each and every user how many issues you have resolved using this particular CodeGate tool. And if it can be logged centrally, for example, let's say on an average, a user hits this CodeGate 3 times or 4 times a day, they have resolved some X number of issues. So if I want to get a metrics out of usage of CodeGate, then just having individual user system, that might not be feasible.
Okay, good. Sound good. I can just contact the team, or I can just write a GitHub issue regarding those things. Maybe we can expect in the future.
What if we install it on some ECS or something? Give a particular instead of local docker. There is no authentication. Authentication not enabled on it's an open just open. If you enable public access, it's open to world. Anyone can access it.
But there is a problem, right?
Like take the Docker image and install it in your ECS, in your company cloud ECS. Who is using it and copy, right? There is no authentication top of it. You need to write a wrapper around it again to enable authentication. It's extra thing.
Apart from the authentication, other thing is request is you need to get a central dashboard, like which person is using which thing, right? If you made it publicly.
So if you actually make it a centralized one, so the portal you are seeing will be like whoever is interacting with the Docker, that volume will be there and the data will be centralized. That's what I'm saying.
But you can't know which person has given that request, right? There is a problem in that one. So maybe in future we can expect this one. But it's a incubating project. They started last year only. So there is a problem with using all those things. You can't at present still now we can't use this with cursor, because people are mostly using cursor apart from the GitHub Copilot, right? So it's all in the roadmap to support for the cursor and other AI models. When comparing with AI models, they provide support for OpenAI and Anthropic. So apart from those things and all, there are in the roadmap to support other models like Mistral, Gemini, Gemma, or any stuff. But you can try this with local via Olama. I tried first with the local via Olama, but I faced a problem. I can just share the screenshot of it. Instead of using Copilot, I used Continue. There is an open source alternative to Cursor or GitHub Copilot. It's called Continue. It's like a coding assistant, but it's a fully open source Apache license. So I used Continue with CodeGate via Olama. My models, I installed Q1. It's a model from Alibaba. So it's a famous coding coding model, like what we have Llama code and other things, right? But the problem is due to my compute thing, I was received this error 500. So they recommended me to use 7 billion parameter, but my system won't handle all those complexity thing. When I tested with the low models like 1.5 billion, they have another model 1.5 billion model. When I tried with it, but the output is not efficient when comparing to using the models with 7 billion model. So it's recommended to use hosted. If you have a more compute or anything, you can just try via Olama also. Instead of using Anthropic or instead of using GitHub Copilot, you can also try with Continue with Olama. You can just get the same result what we are doing with the GitHub Copilot. So if you use Olama and other thing, you don't need to install the CA certificate under other thing. That's the difference between. You can also try with Olama also. Any doubts? Yeah, a good question. So the SBOMs and other static tools and all, right? It will happen after you wrote the code. But I want something which I was doing in parallel, right? So I don't want to spend my time using all those SAST or SBOMs, or I don't want to know the result in the pipeline, CI/CD pipeline, or in I want more in the shift left. So I want the code which I want to know whether I was writing a code. I need to understand whether the code is secure or that's what I was thinking to use all those things and all. Any questions? Okay. Yeah, so I want to talk a few words about OpenSSF. So in the beginning we saw about Linux Foundation and CNCF, all those things, right? So OpenSSF is a part of Linux Foundation. Like how we have CNCF under Linux Foundation, there is a separate foundation for open source security components. It's a part of Linux Foundation. So they used like how we have a Kubernetes, Prometheus, Grafana for cloud native. So for open source security project like the StackLug, we see StackLug is a part of OpenSSF Foundation. Like there are other tools from OpenSSF folks. There is a project called OpenSSF Scorecard, which actually detects your code and will recommend you, it will give you a score based on your security thing, like you use any vulnerability package or any stuff. So it will give you a scorecard out of it. So there are so many projects there in the OpenSSF Foundation. So it's a complete different foundation specific for security folks. So last year we had our first KubeCon in India. So also we have a first OpenSSF community day in India before KubeCon last year November. So this time also we have our OpenSSF community day on 4th August. Like on 5th August we have open source summit, and 6th and 7th we have KubeCon. So before open source summit we also have a OpenSSF community day specific for security and other things. So you will get a lot of insights on security projects and all those things. You will get know about a lot of open source security projects. Yeah, so even if you are not convinced with the talk, or if you are feel something bore or other things, so this is a QR code. I wrote a blog about the talk which I covered, so you can see all those things. That's it. So if you have any doubts, you can just discuss it. Cool. Thank you.